unless they really want to.
And how did the client know that their experience is true and that they're not just making it up to maybe please you or not to seem silly?
Yes, I understand. There are some clients who, when they come out of the regression, are absolutely overwhelmed by what they experienced and what they saw. But it takes them a while. They doubt. Did that really happen? Did I really, really see it? Some clients are think, I must have made that up. Some clients are very sure that they didn't. But there are other possibilities at work. And as a therapist, any past life regression therapist must take on board the fact that the life that's been recalled may not in fact be a past life. It may be a confabulation of metaphors, symbols, archetypes that are put together in a story form that fit the bill for what the client is actually experiencing in their current life. It may not be true, but it carries special meaning for them and special insight into what's happening in their current life, very much like a dream.
So you can make up a lifetime?
Well, because you're dealing with the subconscious, and in the subconscious live archetypes and symbols, you can confabulate, you can put it all together and create a lifetime that some of it may be true, some of the gaps may have been filled in, but essentially the client afterwards will feel that they identified with it and it had special meaning for them, and they'll actually go away feeling that, yes, I know I'm stronger as a result of it. But it's not just the possibility of people making up, the subconscious taking over. Remember, the subconscious deals with the imagination, and the imagination, when it's given vent, can literally create at will anything that it wants to. But there are other theories, at play, and if you'd like me to go through those briefly, I can.
Okay, yes, please do.
Okay, one of the theories behind past life recall, and as a therapist, we don't force our opinion on anybody. You don't have to believe in reincarnation to have a past life regression. There are other concepts and beliefs out there as to what's actually happening. One of them is called a thing called cryptomnesia, which is a client recalling information that at some time in their life they were exposed to. It may be a colossal amount of factual, historical information they're coming out with, but sometime in their life they were exposed to, possibly as a child, but the subconscious can absorb so much information that the conscious not be realising that it actually does. Under certain situations like meditation, hypnosis or trauma, the subconscious can release that information and recall it back verbatim. And it can seem like the person, there's no way they could have known all that. It's just that they were exposed to it very briefly at some stage in their life. That's cryptomnesia. And also that comes into play with xenoglossy, which is speaking in foreign tongues. Again, there's a belief that we have no idea of the power of the mind and what it's actually capable of. And the belief with xenoglossy is that, again, at some stage in our life, we were exposed to a foreign language, even as a child on holidays in Spain. And then again, under hypnosis or meditation, suddenly we can speak the language. Now, these are just concepts. Nothing has ever been proven. We also must look at the theory behind genetic transmission, that so much is passed down in our genes, our DNA, that why not memories, possibly ancestral memories as well, and that as we live and we pass on our genes to our children, passed on is a genetic blueprint of our life, and it's passed on all the way down. So there is a kind of a question out there, are we kind of recycled versions of our ancestors when we have a past life regression? Maybe it's not our own life we're actually recalling, but maybe one of our ancestors, and it just has been carried down in our DNA, and we just can bring out the memories at will. And of course then there's the idea as well that there's no such thing as time. The past, present and future all existing together. So it's still in a pioneering stage, past life regression. And as we move more and more and more with this, we're learning more, and it's through our clients we're learning more. When we keep getting the same situations coming up, the same descriptions, what it's like to pass over, the same descriptions of entry into the spirit world and spirit guides, there's something in it that not everybody can be wrong. They're coming up with the same information.
So people can have the same experiences?
Not the same lives, but the way they describe things. Now, one very interesting thing, which is what I do with all my clients now, when I get them into their past life, I want them to tell me what they're wearing. Sometimes they can't. It takes a while for the veils to lift and the fogs to clear. But I start them at their feet. What's on your feet? And then work up the body. Sense, have you got something on? Have you got long hair? Have you got a beard? So they get an idea of what they're wearing. As soon as I can, after we've explored their immediate environment, I'll bring them to where they live, their home. And I get them to go in, describe the building, the outside, what's around it, get me into the house. Then bring me to a room where there's a mirror or a looking glass, because I want them to actually have a look at themselves. So they actually stand in front of the mirror, and sometimes they're pleasantly surprised, and other times they're upset by what they see. But what I do with all of them is I say, smile. And then when they do, in general, they say, oh my God, my teeth. They're rotten, or I'm missing loads of teeth. And then I say, I mean, so many of them say this about the teeth. And one girl actually got very, very upset. She was only a young girl in the regression, but her teeth were rotten, and she was so upset. But I had to actually explain to her, she was talking about you in the early 1800s. A lot of people had rotten teeth then.
Can you be anything but human?
Now, there is the difference of opinions about this, okay? There is a new way of regressing, but it's called between life regression, and it's an area that I'm hopefully going to be studying in the States within the next year. It's regression into the spirit world. Now, once we get into the spirit world, we can really, really access information about all our other lives and how the spirit world works, and birth, and animal souls and human souls. There is a belief, okay, through regression of these clients to the spirit world, that they give information of being animals at some stage, and also not being humans, of coming from other galaxies, other dimensions, where they have been more mental beings than physical beings, and lived in mental planes of existence rather than physical worlds. So we've often heard the story of star people, that they were star people, they'd come from a star planet, and they're now in the physical humans. It's just that they come from different planets, and that there are planets, we're not the only ones here with life on Earth, but that at some stage some souls have existed on other planets, and now they're trying out the physical world. And these souls, in the life between life regression, they'll talk about the physical world, Earth, being very heavy and dense, and they find it very difficult making the transfer from the mental worlds, the mental state worlds, where there was no physical gravity or anything, into getting used to being on Earth. They say it's very dense and very heavy.
Do you have to believe in reincarnation to do the past life regression?
No, and that's the areas that we just touched on there. There's no set belief in it. All those of the cryptonesia, the xenoglossy, all those. There are people come in to me and they say, well, I don't really know what I believe in, but I want to just try this out. And they always feel that even if they think they made it up, that it has meaning for them. It's just, some people are just so surprised by what comes out that they find it hard to accept. I often get emails and phone calls saying that the more they digest it, the more they accept that what they actually saw. And, you know, in general as well, people's regressions, their lives are fairly normal and boring. You know, we've all lived ordinary lives. We've lived extraordinary lives as well. We've been famous. We've been infamous. We've actually experienced life in every single way possible. We obviously haven't experienced it in every way yet, because we're still incarnating. And they will actually experience different things all the time.
And how come we can't remember past lives naturally?
Yes, because we're given this kind of spiritual amnesia when we enter the womb. And it's like we knew the script in the spirit world. We know what our plan is. We choose our own lives. We choose our environment. We choose our families. But we're basically given our life plan in the spirit world, yet we leave the script behind when we enter the physical. Because if we knew how it was going to pan out for us